Thank you very much. I think I will go beyond 1 minute, but it won't be too much.
Your Excellency.
Your Excellencies, beginning with the former Vice President, Waziri, governors who are here, your Royal Majesties and Highnesses, and in particular my brother and his dear wife, the celebrant, and all of you, our leaders, friends, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like, on behalf of my family and I, to congratulate my dear brother and his wife and his family on achieving the very significant milestone of 60. It seems to me that we may have conspired at the other side, but he came to this sphere few months before I did. I will be 60 January. So I congratulate you. And I want to use this opportunity to thank Madam for taking very good care of our brother. He's actually looking far younger than 60. We are all here with Chief Oyegu, His Excellency, who is our leader here. Secondos is here, Leo, and all of us as part of this national audience, but also as people from our zone who are here, with Senator Odoide here, all of us here to congratulate and show solidarity with our brother. And by doing so, look up to a future politics that will transcend vitriol and division and disagreements of the past. Amaechi, congratulations. While we were governors, I can attest to the fact that you invested seriously in security. You were flushing out criminals from River State, just as I was also from Bayelsa, flushing them out from Bayelsa. And they had difficulty
Thank you, sir.
determining where to run to. It's not enough. It's good for governors to build roads and flyovers, but then you must identify priorities. Security, investing in education, investing in health care, building security, and showing and demonstrating democratic temper in the way you handle and manage people.
Thank you, sir.
And on a light note, when I came in here and climbing up here, I've seen a lot of you, and as my brother El Rufai has said, there are a number of you who are expert conspirators, who know how to assemble coalitions and then take over governments as you did to my party in 2015. And when you did so, particularly to a clueless government, so-called, now 11 years down the line, we thought that there would have been no weaponization of poverty.
Thank you, sir.
And that all the challenges of Nigeria would have been gone.
Thank you.
But 11 years down the line, here we are, assembled to still bemoan the fate of our country. And the only advice I can give, not being a professional coalition builder and conspirator, as some of you are, is that this time, shine your eyes.
Thank you so much.
As you build coalitions and
state weaponization of poverty. Why I say so, when I was growing up in the North, the most prosperous city or state was Kano State. The most prosperous. And incidentally, as soon as I finished my secondary school, my first location was Kano State. I never saw people sleeping outside. Then there were no bridges or flyovers. I never saw people sleeping outside or outside the shops in Kano State. Recently, People were all over state, sleeping under the bridge, on the streets, who were driven out by poverty and insecurity. There is a state agency in Kano responsible for providing succor to such people. And they started doing their work and enlightening people and removing people from under the bridges and outside on the streets. What happened? They were called to Abuja, and they were told to stop it. That is why I said I wanted to amend the topic of today to add state weaponization of poverty.
Hi, good evening and thanks for joining us on Political Lens. I am Chukwuma Okoro. We are broadcasting on Metro SL TV channel 264. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People Television, and on other social media platforms, we are VOP TV Live. Join the conversation by calling in or sending WhatsApp messages to the number showing on your screen. The number is 0904-473-2605. Feel free to put out your views on the comment section on YouTube, and also ask the guests constructive questions if you have any, and I promise you your voice will be heard. Now let's get into it right away. Well, we're talking about coalition in Disarray as Obi, Amaechi, Atiku fight for ticket. A powerful coalition, opposition coalition, is taking shape ahead of Nigeria's 2027 general elections, led by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party's Peter Obi. However, insider sources reveal that former Transportation Minister Rotimi Amaechi is emerging as a likely consensus presidential candidate. This development follows Obi's insistence on contesting again with his 2023 running mate, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, and the coalition struggle to reconcile Atiku's ambition. Amaechi's refusal to support President Tinubu in 2023 and his recent 60th birthday lecture, themed Weaponizing Hunger, have positioned him as a potential alternative with cross-party appeal. Well, amid internal disagreements, some coalition leaders are considering registering a new political party, possibly named the All Democratic Alliance, ADA, to avoid existing party structures like SDP or ADC, which they believe are vulnerable to sabotage by incumbents. Figures like Dr. Omar Ado argue that forming a new party will retain momentum and reduce legal or political complications. Meanwhile, Atiku is reportedly pushing for a merger with an existing party, raising questions about the coalition's unity and direction. At Amaechi's birthday event, several high-profile figures voiced their positions. Atiku referred to himself, Amaechi, and Nasir El-Rufai as united conspirators against Tinubu's leadership, while former Bayelsa Governor Siraki Distin issued a caution warning the coalition not to repeat the mistakes of 2015 when they helped oust the PDP, which he believes led to Nigeria's current woes. Well, Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka praised Amaechi's courage for refusing to step down in the 2022 APC primaries, likening his defiance to that of Tinubu's during Obasanjo's third-term bid. Not everyone is impressed by the opposition coalition anyway. Former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode, FFK, blasted the group for its disunity, accusing it of being weak, fragmented, and lacking direction. No factors he believes are driving Nigeria towards a one-party state under the APC. He argued that personal ambition is overshadowing national interest within the coalition, asserting that their disorganization makes them unfit to challenge APC's dominance in 2027. While echoing Fani Kayode's sentiments, APC chieftain Olatunbosun Oyintiloye dismissed the Atiku-led coalition as a failed project, rooted more in personal political survival than a genuine plan for governance. He cited Nigeria's history of unsuccessful coalitions and warned that without genuine unity and purpose, this new alliance is likely to collapse like those before it. Oyintiloye suggested that many in the coalition would be supporting Tinubu if they were included in his administration, framing their opposition as opportunistic rather than principled. Now, let's bring in our guest. We are joined in the studio here by Mr. Dele Fanimo. Dele is He's a seasoned reporter and VOP in-house analyst. Good evening, Dale, and thanks for coming to Political Lens. Always good to have you here.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my guest
Can't
said
stop.
asked for you. They said I should bring you.
Who?
My guests. Sorry, my viewers. My
viewer.
viewers said I should bring you. So it's good to have you here.
I'm always here. And,
Okay, you watched the video, you listened to the intro. Now, given the visible cracks in Atiku Obi alliance and their refusal to step down for each other, what does this say about the opposition's ability to form a united front against a highly organized ruling party like the APC in 2027? Are we witnessing a repeat of past coalition failures cloaked in new slogans? What's your broad reaction to the fact that between Atiku, Obi, Amaechi, El-Rufai, they are unable to, looks like their camp is in disarray because these four figures that we talked about are all interested in becoming president of this country. Is that how to form a mega coalition to host a ruling party?
I've told you about 2 months ago here that coalition is dead on arrival. Because the gladiators at the top, they would embark on self-destruct as a result of unbridled ambition that transcends loyalty to the state and loyalty to Nigerians, but loyalty to their stomach. Unbridled acquisition of wealth and devilish contestation for power's sake. And that is what is happening now. I told you, I said, there is no way Tinubu will want to step down for anybody, not even his son.
Tinubu?
Atiku. There is no way Atiku will want to step down for anybody, not even his son, in this race. He has been nursing this ambition when he was vice president to Obasanjo. And because that umbrella couldn't serve his purpose, he ran to this same Tinubu that is now attacking in ACN. He left PDP. Later, came back to PDP again. Now is forming coalition. Just because he wants to achieve his aim of, even if it's just one day, as occupier of the Aso Villa. And so, that aside, El-Rufai is just a small fry in the equation of things.
You think so?
I know so.
Okay.
El-Rufai does not even have a base in Kaduna. El-Rufai has been profiled as supporters of traducers of Nigerians, particularly in Kaduna South. El-Rufai is nursing a deep wound inflicted on him by the current administration. And so his pursuit is that of vendetta. Having done this, I expected to have been given this, and unfortunately, he is just a technocrat in politics. He doesn't understand the undercurrents in politics. If he knew, he wouldn't have gone to shame himself before the Senate. Because it was very clear before he appeared in the Senate that there is a groundswell opinion against him that the current government will not give him ministerial slots. And so he went there, took bow, did everything. There was nothing he didn't do, but he was disappointed when they said no. So as a result of that, anything that is against this administration, particularly Tinubu, is game for El-Rufai.
Okay.
Amaechi is also one. Amaechi from 1999 till 2023. Amaechi that has been in government. 16 of it under PDP. 8 under APC. And he backed the wrong Govs by not stepping down at the last minute. because he was relying solely on the promises made by that Buhari's cousin.
Okay.
Is it nephew? That is, his alias is Tunde. Now, the same Tunde was the one promising Emefiele tickets and a host of others. Because they believe that whatever he says is what the president would agree to. That is Buhari. Now, Amaechi was so dealt with after the primaries that he knew that the game was up for him in this administration.
Okay, now before we move on, how do you rate Amaechi's political space? Does he have weight? Recall that he was first runner-up in the APC presidential primaries. So does he have that kind of weight?
Amaechi was first runner-up
to challenge Buhari. Tinubu.
Amaechi was first runner-up because he has a war chest that he has built over the years.
Okay.
And so he feels he can show that muscle, backed by some people who call themselves cabal in the last administration.
And do you think he still has that war chest? It's 2 years down the line.
Well, even if he has that war chest,
do you think he's spent?
You see, the point is, politics is so dynamic that 2-3 days of not being in the radar can undermine your progress.
Okay, so you clearly believe that
Amaechi is a non-starter.
You clearly believe that the camp of the opposition is more like in Disarray, like some Nigerians have said.
He's in Disarray. Okay. It's not more like.
All right. Okay.
He's in Disarray.
Now let's bring in our guest virtually. We are joined by Dr. Abdulrauf Ayodeji. He's a man of many parts. He's a political affairs commentator. He is also the founder, CEO of a think startup Beyond Borders Incorporated. Good evening, Alhaji Dr. Ayodeji Abdulrauf, and thanks for joining us on Political Lens.
Thank you so much, my brother. Nice joining you guys this evening. I've been enjoying the speaker over there.
All right.
Evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Evening, sir.
All right.
In the studio.
Welcome to Political Lens, Dr. Ayodeji. Now, I'm happy that you follow the conversation. Now, Rotimi Amaechi is being floated as a compromise candidate by parts of opposition and even some APC factions. How realistic is this strategy, considering his ties to Buhari-era politics and his loss to Tinubu in the 2022 primaries? Can he truly unify a fragmented opposition and attract broad national support? You know what happened, during the 2022 presidential primaries, where he was first runner-up, like I just said. And nobody knows where Amaechi is now. Is Amaechi in the APC, or which party is he in? He's been quite vocal, attacking the president and all of us. And people are reminding him, look, you were part of a failed administration, like the APC administration of Buhari. You were part of it for 8 good years. Like the video that at his birthday, Seriake Dixon, his colleague governor, the former colleague governor, and now a senator, said, look, people, beware of these people that are gathering, because that was exactly what they did in 2015, and the promises were not met. So what do you think of Amaechi's position as a runner in the 2027 presidential election?
To me, even the viewer, even my co-guest in-house in the studio, I mean, first, Amaechi, can we first check, before you can venture to take a position like being the president of Nigeria, you must have a very solid grassroots. At the moment, can anyone say Amaechi has his own grassroots? Because it's so critical when the chips are done. It's so critical in determining who can do what, And what has Amaechi done in the last years of his service to the public? He should give us people that he has been able to empower over the time across the nation. And these are also going to count, because what counted for Tinubu in 2023 is more enhanced now than ever. Somebody that had built bridges over the time. And he was head of government for so many years, and he still kept quiet building the bridges. I don't know how many bridges Amaechi has built across the nation, even with his 8 years as Minister for Transport. I don't know how much of that he has. And again, back in Rivers State, where he was made, before he became the minister, what are those things that we could see as references? Because today, I can say it practically has been to Rivers State. Its legacies have been wiped out by Honorable Wike. If you go to Rivers State now, you can't see any of the traces of Amaechi. There's still some little that he empowers over time. As a minister of transport for 8 years, what has he done to this country across the region that could warrant him building muscle to venture to be a president of Nigeria? And these are some of the things a lot of us that have been watching the trend at the moment, that before you can become president of Nigeria at the moment, you must have cut across all regions, all tribes.
All right. Dr. Ayodeji, do we see a replay of 2015? Because looks like in 2015, we had a couple of disgruntled people, in and outside government. We had people like Bukola Saraki. We had Rotimi Amaechi himself. I think there were 5 governors from the PDP that pulled out, and they were able to break the PDP from what they call the NPDP, and now merged with the APC, to pull the feet on the rug under the feet of the PDP. Then that's talking about Jonathan government. Again, we see a gathering of people that are disgruntled, former governors, clearly, former people that have also been in the APC, now they are disgruntled. So despite the fact that we don't see governors, active governors in the APC, who are kind of disgruntled that we had in the PDP then, but the operative word there is that a lot of people seem to be disgruntled with this administration. Talk about former governors like Amaechi himself, former Minister Amaechi. Talk about El-Rufai. Talk about Atiku Abubakar, who was also part of the ACN, So if you put all of these things together, and the North as a bloc trying to gang up against the current administration, is it right to wish away this coalition and say that, looks like it's not going to add up to anything, that it is dead on arrival, like my guest analyst said in the studio here, that is, if you put all of these things together, will it be right to wish away that the coalition might not damage the electoral chances of the APC in 2027?
My co-guest has said is dead on arrival. If you look at the tsunami that we are having now politically, in terms of shift, in terms of crossing the carpet, in terms of people moving from PDP to APC, a lot of our former political leaders, they all have skeleton in their cupboard, and they find it difficult to manage that skeleton. And that's why sometimes some of them struggle to get power back in order to find a way to barricade themselves, while some of them find a way to go back to the ruling party. This is the first time, 2 years of Tinubu in government, this is the first time we see even sitting governors that have not even finished their tenure, that are cross-carpeting to APC because of the progressive nature, I guess, of what he's doing. And I can say this anywhere. All governors at the moment, the kind of available fund that they do have, courtesy of these correct government policies, a lot of them, if they want to really gang up, they could gang up and start fighting Mr. President. But if you can see the kind of shift we are seeing with them now, I doubt if we're going to have the same thing like 2015. What we are going to have is a progressive movement of some politicians, as usual, in the power that be, and move along with the current government.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ayodeji. I like the fact that you talked about the progressive nature of this administration and how governors from particularly the PDP are trying to identify with the progressive nature of this government. We are going to talk about that in a bit. But before then, let's come back to the studio where we still have Mr. Dele Fanimo. Now, the call to form a brand new political party instead of fusing into the SDP or ADC stems from fears of internal sabotage and legal tussles. But does it suggest that the opposition leaders lack the institutional discipline to manage existing structures? And if so, how can they promise Nigerians a better run government? Look at what is happening. PDP has said, look, we can't merge, but you can come. Labour Party has said, look, no, we are not disposed to merging, but Peter Obi has said, look, I'm going to run here, and yet Peter Obi is also still part of the coalition talks with Atiku Abubakar and others. Now, SDP is in more like crisis. El-Rufai went there to cause trouble. ADC is said, well, come, but we don't guarantee anything to anybody. So if the opposition is having this difficulty, how much does that impact in their ability to run a better government? If at this stage they are tinkering with, do we register a new political party, or do we merge, or what's your reaction to their inability to arrive at?
See, if you take an aggregate census of those who are at the center of all this, coalition and no coalition, almost all of them are served either as state governor, as speaker of a house, or senator, or vice president, or whatever. They have benefited immensely from this country, and they have resources to destabilize this country. And what they are after is consolidation. Most of them are in their 60s, their 70s. What have they done? What have been their antecedents in government? Amaechi was in government for 24 years. Can he point to anything substantial that they had done apart from buying a private jet? Somebody who left as the PRO of a private hospital that is not in the league of top-rated hospitals in this country.
Okay.
In 1999. And he became a member of House of Assembly. And when that assembly was to be inaugurated in 1999, they made him speaker, courtesy of the governor, who was the owner of the hospital where he was PRO.
Okay.
What was he doing before he became PRO of that hospital? That suddenly he found himself in wealth. If he had saved all the money he made in 24 years as a politically exposed person, he wouldn't be able to buy a chopper, not to talk of a bombardier. Now, his watches, we saw what he spent during the last campaign. What he spent, nobody that has not deviated from the norm will have that kind of war chest.
Okay.
Atiku Abubakar, he was a custom officer and he was a tax collector early in his life before he joined the custom, and he rose to become CAC. I don't know, assistant controller,
yes.
Which is equivalent of assistant commissioner of police. Today, look at his wealth. He was sitting atop BPE, supervising BPE, under which state resources were practically allocated to private concerns.
How much of this impact on their credibility as a people?
That's what I'm saying.
Because I asked the question in the light of the fact, you said that Amaechi started as a PRO
in a private hospital.
I know the private hospital, Pamo Clinic, Peter and Mary Odele Clinic, somewhere in Port Harcourt, and that he also served as a PA to the Odele himself, became speaker and all of that, governor, and he was able to build a war chest. I asked the question in light of the people in government now, are you able to point to, where they worked? Like the current president, we have issues about, that Amaechi went to University of Port Harcourt, is not in dispute. The current president, where did he go to? Secondary school, university? He said he worked in some oil company, they said no. He said he worked in one accounting firm, they said no. So in all of this, has it impacted on his delivery as a leader? So why should it be?
You see, I'm not exempting anybody from this road.
Okay.
What I'm saying practically is that we have been throwing up people that concerned themselves and still concerns themselves with taking care of themselves and not taking care of Nigerians.
Okay.
And so this new movement is not going to be an exception.
Okay, from the old.
From the old. Are these people not part of the old? Peter Obi, 8 years governor. Amaechi, 8 years speaker, 8 years governor. Minister, 8 years. Atiku,
Vice President.
8 years. Who else? El-Rufai, Governor, 8 years. Minister, and then superintending over BPE, Bureau of Private Enterprise, which was about the most lucrative organ of government.
Okay, I like the fact that you mentioned all of these people. Let us simulate now. Let us say, peradventure, they are able to agree, and P2B comes with the obedient movement, which is a large chunk of the youthful population. Atiku comes with a breaks the PDP, whether it is 1 quarter that he takes. El-Rufai and Amaechi, no matter how little they come, with whatever they can grab from the APC, if they are able to unify, like they have been doing, they've been attending conferences, hosting seminars and all of that, talking about weaponizing poverty, talking about human rights violation, talking about insecurity, despite the fact that they also didn't deliver on these things. But look, you don't understand Nigerians. They want it like now, here and now. If they are able to put all of these things together, how much damage do you think they can do to the reputation or the electoral value of APC in 2027?
You see, what you have just said is just a conjecture.
Okay.
Yes, if they bring all these fragmented parts of the old order together. But the point is, you know how they catch monkey in South America?
No.
They use the god to bait the monkey. What they do is they hang the bird, perforate the body of the god so that the monkey can see banana inside. And you know the god has tiny entrance to the bigger part. So you know when the monkey is dipping his hand, it goes in straight. But the moment he catches banana, it holds on to that banana, and there is no sense in that monkey that he should release the banana so that it can be free. So he will hold on to that banana because that banana is what is in his brain. Okay. He has already eaten it without taking it from the gods. So what will now happen is the hunter will just come effortlessly, put chain and carry the monkey, and it can now break that banana. The monkey may not even eat it.
Okay.
It's the same thing that is going on here. That unbridled ambition among these people will not make them get to the promised land. Some of them will still fight dirty and return to APC before 2027.
Okay.
Because at the heart of all this contestation is power for me, I and myself, not power to the people.
Have we ever had power to the people?
We will never have power to the people if we continue to throw up this kind of people.
Okay.
We need a clear departure from the old order. Let somebody come.
So assuming peradventure, Bola Ahmed Tinubu does 2027 to 2031. Now, the power that gets to somebody, will it be power to that person or to that group or to the people?
It is still power to these people.
Okay.
So
now we are running out of time.
We don't have a revolutionary person who can say, no, I want to make a change. That's when we start realizing that we are going somewhere.
Okay.
But these people that they seek power to protect themselves from the people. Not Thomas Nyerere, after he left office, every morning he couldn't see the other side of his house. What was happening? Farmers were bringing their produce, submitting at his doorstep, to the extent that they had to beg them one day and say, look, I'm old. I don't need this kind of food. Take it back to your various houses and feed your children and your family. Those are things. Do you think that some of these people, if they have not stolen, why do they have to use convoy? If you have a community where you live and you are nice to them, they will protect you when there is need for it. But the moment you show hostility and you show pride, that's when you need soldiers, police, civil defense put together to be guarding you. And how long can you do that? These people, they have alienated themselves from the masses, and they are haunted by the ghost of the masses.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Now, Dr. Ayodeji said something about progressive government, progressive people moving into a progressive government. Now, APC mounts pressure on 4 PDP governors to join APC. The presidency and all the and the All Progressives Congress, APC, are intensifying efforts, we learned, to woo governors from the opposition People's Democratic Party amidst deepening internal crisis within the PDP. Several PDP governors are reportedly considering defection due to fears that unresolved national party issues, such as those that led to court notifications in Plateau State, could undermine their re-election bids. The APC sees this as an opportunity to exploit instability in the opposition and shift political control in key states. Like in Akwa Ibom State, Governor Umar Eno faces mounting pressure to join the APC, but his party is reportedly blocked by former Governor Odom Emmanuel, who still wields control over PDP's political structure in the state. Well, without Emmanuel's blessing, Eno risks political isolation and the loss of support from lawmakers. Insiders claim the APC is targeting financially strong opposition states like Akwa Ibom State and Delta to weaken the opposition. They are weaken opposition's ability to back a credible presidential candidate in 2027. Over in Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke is said to have explored the possibility of defecting to the APC. His family reportedly offered to deliver the state to President Tinubu in 2027 in exchange for political backing. However, APC insiders, particularly Minister Boyega Oyetola, talking about the Minister of Blue Economy, remains skeptical due to past broken promises involving the Adeleke family. Historical grievances, including a betrayal during the PDP's internal factional crisis, continue to cast a shadow over any deal. Meanwhile, in the southeast and parts of the north, similar pressures are being applied. Governors like Hope Uzodinma are working to get their counterparts, Peter Mba in Enugu, Alex Oti in Abia, and Chukwuma Soludo in Anambra, to defect to the APC. While Mba remains non-committal and Soludo stays loyal to Abga, efforts persist. Well, in Zamfara, Governor Dauda Lawal is also being courted, but resistance from APC figures like Bello Matawale, who serves as the Minister of State for Defense, complicates matters. For now, Lawal maintains his stance. I remain in PDP, according to Dauda Lawal. Now, Dr. Ayodeji, with multiple PDP governors reportedly under pressure to defect due to internal party instability, what does this say about the state of Nigeria's opposition politics? Like you said, this administration, is it clearly progressive, or are governors being pressured and coerced? We understand a lot of people think that the Delta State governor moved because his godfather, Ifeanyi Okowa, had questions to answer somehow, and we understand that Fubara will likely move over to the APC because of what went down in Rivers State. Can a party that's unable to resolve its internal, in all of this, do you think that these people are moving because of the progressive nature of this administration and the ruling party, or are they being pressured if you put everything together? What's your reaction to that, sir?
Oh, thank you so much. My co-guest in the studio has been saying it. You know, what our political class do in Nigeria is that they conquer, they stood to conquer the masses. And as soon as they acquire that power, and they use power to influence masses negatively. And that's practically what is happening in our own system. If you look at what happened in the First Republic, we have more like a progressive things, where we have key competitions among the key players at that time. Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa in the north, Chief Enaoro. The kind of thing we have them are clean competitions, and they are for masses. Yeah, they could be acquiring something like some people did say about them too. But at the moment, the kind of political leaders we have in Nigeria are always acquiring power to conquer the masses. They are acquiring the power to conquer the masses most of the time. And to me, the pressure is that either the pressure on progressiveness cannot be seen in this light. What I've seen is that the opposition is already weakened, and we can practically see that the opposition
is exactly the point, Dr. Ayodeji. What do you think is weakening this opposition? Does it have some kind of because Nigerians are talking about state capture? Does it look like the government is using pressure or coercion, to move people over?
No, it's just the objective of the politician. We don't have the usual principle in politics. You cannot even differentiate between PDP and APC sometimes, because the same PDP people are in APC today, and come tomorrow, let another party be in power, the same people, you see them there. So there's no party line delineation.
No,
I don't know whether politicians...
Doctor, in 2015, we saw governors from the ruling party move over to the opposition. But here, we see people from the opposition moving over to the ruling party. So what changed? What's the difference? What is causing all of this? Isn't it some form of coercion?
No, the powers of the political class at that time wasn't as much as we have it today. Nigeria is practically poor now. Anybody that comes in to give anybody money, they will go and vote for him or her or whoever comes in now. And the people in power, the way they have been able to suppress, don't let me just say suppression. Our political class are not clean. At every point in time, they leave power. Why must they continue to beg? You're supposed to be in opposition and stand there, and whatever resources you have, you put in opposition to fight the government. There was a time they announced they're going to form a shadow government. I was even thinking they are coming with something to see for us to be able to compare like we see in the civilized world, so that we can have a key parameter to judge the current government. But there was none.
No,
what opposition is supposed
sorry,
to
Doctor,
do
I
is
think
to
it's,
create...
Talking about the shadow government, I think it's still in the works, but you understand that the promoter, Pat Utomi, has been charged to court by the federal government. As a matter of fact, the Department of State Services took him to court and said, look, you are trying to cause trouble for the government in Nigeria. So that's exactly what is happening.
That hasn't been part of our system. We're not running parliamentary system. Maybe that's the reason why that was brought up.
Okay.
Because it's not part of our own democracy. But there could be a way that opposition could put a check on the current government if they really design it. Okay, like 2015 you are referring to. What did really happen? Is because the coalition at that time, they have we have a lot of the insider that are giving the people outside information, and they were able to use it very well to run over the incumbent government. So, but to me, it's just the basic things that we need to watch out in our political class is, why are they in government? Okay. Are they in government for the masses, or they are in government for themselves?
Okay.
Most of the time, you see that you see them in the light that they are in government for themselves, and when the power is no more in that party, they move to another party.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ayedeji. Let's come back to the studio. Dele, what is going on? Will you describe it as strategy or manipulation? If you look at the government seems to be targeting the oil-rich South states. Delta has fallen. Akwa Ibom is about to fall.
It will fall.
It will fall. More like River State will fall too. So if you put all of these things together, will you describe that as...
Bayelsa is in line.
Okay, Bayelsa is in line too. Now, will you call it political strategy or...
Edo is in the kitty.
Edo is in the kitty. I like the description that you use, because targeting the South states, oil-rich South states.
Delta is also in the kitty.
No, Delta has already fallen.
And that's what I'm saying. It's also in the kitty.
It's in the kitty. Edo is in the kitty. River State is almost there. Akwa Ibom is one leg. There. You understand?
95% there.
95% there. So what would you describe this? Is it political strategy or devious manipulation on the part of the ruling government?
You see, it's not dubious manipulation. This is politics. Okay. And I've always said
in politics, everything is fair and right.
Politics is like war. All is fair in war. Okay. There is no strategy you apply in fighting a war. So long as you win that battle, then you are there. And that is what politics is all about.
So who is winning this battle now? Is it the political class or the masses? Because if at the end of the day you win this war and the masses are left worse off than they're supposed to be.
My problem with that is, it is easier to wake up somebody who is sleeping than attempting to wake somebody who is pretending to be sleeping. The person that is, in fact, he wakes up with a statue if that person is actually sleeping. But the man that is not sleeping, that is pretending to be sleeping, he will drag his feet. You would have to even pour water on him to force him out of the bed. It's the same thing we have in Nigeria. How do you help somebody who doesn't want himself to be helped? We are not ready to be helped. So where is that help coming from? The same people that come on air, go to everywhere, you hear them saying we are suffering, we are suffering. They are the same people that will kill during election and collect 10,000 naira. So how do you help that kind of person? Are we not clear enough about where we are going? And if you are called somebody that collects 10,000 naira on the day of election, that look, this 10,000 naira you are collecting, it is against your conscience. You say, forget conscience. I need to feed. And as long as they collect this money, we will continue to see people that are not supposed to go near power, acquiring power and using that power against, because ab initio, that person, even if he's using that power against you, is justified. Why is justified is he bought it with his money. And nobody goes into business without thinking of profit. So if somebody spent 10 billion naira to become a governor of a state, okay, and you don't want him to make 50 billion naira before he leaves office, it's not possible. But if we stand, look, this thing is practical and it's doable. Ghanaians rejected rice. Are Ghanaians more comfortable Nigerians than Nigerians?
Okay. Back to the issue. So you think it's all politics? It has nothing
to do.
It's
all politics.
Okay. Now let's go back to Dr. Ayodeji. Doctor, I want us to go to Osun State. Reports suggest that Governor Adeleke's family is bargaining with the APC for 2027 support in exchange for delivering the state. Well, now, what does this say about political loyalty and integrity in Nigerian governance? And should voters be worried about leaders treating states like personal assets? How is it possible? Why should it be reduced? To the Adeleke family. I understand that the governor's family has very close personal and business ties, to the current president, and they are trying to trade, tradables. You give more like quid pro quo. You give this and you take this, and you take this and you give this. And recall too that the minister for the blue economy is the president's niece or something like that. So how much of all of this impacts on building a political culture where the people stand at the center of it instead of vested personal interest at the top level? Is that what we should be talking about at this moment?
It is quite unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of scenario. And like my co-guests have said in the studio, we don't have political parties of values. And which I've also said earlier, our political party formations are not formed in the right mood. The gladiators are always the one leading with their own ambitions, while the follower will just follow them based on what they can give. And in the process, form a party that has no principle, a party that have no cardinal point that they are about delivering anything to people. For example, let's go back to even the formations of all these political parties we are talking about. At the beginning, when they were formed, if we check the way they were being formed, they are always gladiators, grumbling for power, hungry for power, and they are there. Everybody is sharing his own.
Okay.
In Osun case, see what has happened from 1999 till date in Osun. The time that we have the former military governor. Okay. That was it.
Unfortunately, Doctor, you need to like round off with your list because we have less than 2 minutes left, and I also need to have your concluding thoughts.
I think Nigerian political field has become chess players.
Okay.
Game, and whoever can do it best, and you understand, and it's a game of money.
All right.
Let's be practical about it.
Okay. All right.
Nigerian political field is a game of money.
All right.
People that are businessmen, people that are in the political class need to rub hand with people that are businessmen to make things happen. And in the process, they all watch too. Where is the power going? Wherever. Now that the center has changed.
Okay.
Earlier before now, I don't think Adeleke will be coming to negotiate with anybody.
Okay.
Earlier before now, because the people at the power at that time may not even be in support of whoever is in charge today.
Now that's a lot for our political culture. Thank you very much, Dr. Ayodeji.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on Political Lens. Now, Dele, Southeast is in focus now. 2 down, 3 more to go. Ebonyi is APC, Imo is APC. Soludo has endorsed the president, and the president said, look, Soludo, I will support you for the governorship in November. But when he came back to Abuja, he told the candidate of his party, go and get an Anambra State for me. Omba is under pressure, like we are being told. Like Oti has said, look.
Mba is 60.
Okay, Mba is 60% gone. And Oti said, look, I'm not going to APC, I remain in Labour. And people are saying, look, there's nothing like Labour Party. So does it look like Southeast is under the radar for capture too? Quickly as possible as you can. And your concluding thoughts.
Is it not already there for everybody to see? Okay. If governors hold the reins of power, if they are tilting towards a political party, then you should know that it's difficult. Except, and I don't see a state that will just rise up against his own governor overnight. And the governor would have done his calculation before stepping into the ring. You see, my concluding thought is that we are not going anywhere politically in this country. As long as we parade this set of people around us, they will continue to take power for themselves and their family, and Nigerians will be worse off.
All right, thank you very much. Now, this will be a good place to anchor this conversation. We've been speaking with Mr. Dele Fanimo, a citizen reporter and VOP in-house analyst. We also had Dr. Abdurauf Ayodeji, he's a political affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to this show. I appreciate your presence. Now, on behalf of the backroom staff, Technical Director Olusegun George, Bass Manager Ike Chukwuezema, Sound Engineer, Engineer Jerry, and Ingest Manager Mr. Samuel, thanks for your coming to Political Lens. I am Chukwu Makoro. Up next is Issues with Jerry Apollo High. Stay with us and don't go away. Bye for now.